My video for April the 9th, 2018 is entitled Silence is Consent, Mind Control. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. I'm sure anyone in the USA Inc. who has had to deal with police in this country have heard that. They usually say that when they are about to arrest you for one of their code violations or any other reason they deem appropriate at the time. I was in jail twice for driving without a license, even though I had an international driving permit issued from Washington, D.C. The first time I was in bed sleeping, and the second time I had committed the crime of having a taillight out on my car when driving home from my son's gig. On the second offense, I was forced to obtain a Florida driver's license in order to get my car back, and had to pay a large fee even for that. That's personal history of dealing with the criminal operation known as government. Of course, it is a human right to travel without permission, but natural rights are voided by corporate criminals running their mind control system. Yes, I've read the stories of some who have been allowed to slip through the cracks and have their claim of rights upheld. But most have not been able to sidestep the system. I keep asking, when will truth and justice prevail? When will human rights be honored? When will mind control end? I've been at this for a long time, and somebody sent me a little saying about being in the now. Forget the past, and don't worry about the future, be in the now. Like I keep saying, now is a continuum, always a continuum. We have to take things into perspective. Perspective means you look at the whole picture. The whole picture is based on time. There is a past, there is a present, and most likely there will be a future. At least that has been true in the past, that we have all three of those elements to deal with on a daily basis. This is what we call life, or at least the human expression of life. As I've said in other videos, and I don't want to belabor the fact, I have tried over the years to extricate myself from the system. That's why I got an international driving permit that was supposed to be good in all countries except Kenya. I don't know why Kenya was exempted. Maybe that's because that was Obama's country, who was the illegal and unlawful president of the United States for 8 years, even though he was a Kenyan. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. The whole system doesn't have anything to do with reality. Or, let's put it another way, it doesn't have anything to do with truth. It doesn't have anything to do with human rights. It only has to do with a system of lies that has been forced upon humanity. Now, some will say, but humanity consents. Yes, but the consent is through ignorance, and the ignorance is because of silence. Silence is consent. When we don't resist, that which we do not resist persists. Now, some, of course, say it the exact opposite way. Whatever we resist persists. No, what we don't resist persists. Everything in our training and brainwashing has been turned inside out and upside down. It's all a perpetuation of systemic lies that have invaded and pervaded human life from time immemorial. There seems to be an awakening going on. There seems to be people that are finally starting to think outside the box and question the system. This is a good thing. But of course, those that have benefited from the system continue to use their personal slaves to continue to take away human rights, to take away natural justice. When I say natural justice, it's based on allowing things to exist, especially other people, to exist without interfering so long as they don't violate the natural rights of someone else. It's, to me, it's such a simple thing, and yet it has evaded detection by most humans on this planet who fall under the brainwashed system, who are controlled. I have a Florida driver's license now because I had to do that just to get my car back. It was my car. They took it. I had to pay a fee for driving without a license. I had to pay another fee for having them store my car while I was obtaining the Florida license. And then court fees on top of that, fees on top of that. And folks, they're not courts of law. They are operating unlawfully. Those that run the system are the worst criminals on the planet. But we have been deceived. And they pay the people that are the bought and paid for criminals a very high salary. The lawyers and the bankers and the people that are supposedly at the top of the pyramid get paid extraordinary amounts of money relative to the average person in whichever country you live. Always it's the criminals that benefit from the criminal culture, from the criminally run system. I live to see an awakening. I don't want to keep living in this control grid. I don't like it. It's not right. It's not only not right, it destroys all of the joy that one can get out of life. Now, I would like to be able to just forget about it and let it go. And people have told me, just let it go, Ron. You're okay right now. Don't worry about what might happen. Don't worry about what already happened. You can't change the past. You can't control the future. You can only control your response right now. I keep hearing that. I've heard it throughout my life. And there's truth in it. But I have a mission to change, to be part of the change in the world that liberates humanity from the lies. And I've seen that as my mission, my purpose for being here. Some people don't like that because I rock the boat. I challenge the status quo. And I do that on purpose because it's my job. It's my calling. It's what I want. I want God to finally stop allowing criminals to run roughshod over humanity and over our natural rights. Because until that happens, there can be no real peace on earth. There can be no justice. There can be no equality. Everything is corrupted. We need to expose the corruption and do our best to end it. Should that not be the goal of every thinking and loving person? I think so. Thank you for listening, and namaste.